Yeah, my name is Lalito Flores. I am from Mexico City.
How was that event for you with Roger Goodell?
It was amazing to have the opportunity to ask a question to Roger Goodell. Is something that you never expect to happen. So I wasn't expecting a month ago that I'll be in front of the commissioner of the NFL asking a question.
Well, I think Roger has a few extra words he would like to share with you today. Roger?
Eduardo,
Hi.
congratulations on everything you've achieved. I
Thank you so
heard
much.
your story about how you started the Dallas Cowboys fan club down in
Yeah.
Mexico, and you lost your dad.
Yeah.
And I can relate to that. But we're so proud of you and what you've done. So guess what? You're the international inaugural fan of the year. Congratulations.
Oh my God.
So proud of you. You did great. You did great.
Congrats from the Cowboys, from Dak Prescott, from the NFL. You are the NFL Ultimate International Fan of the Year.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
I have one extra surprise for you.
No way. No way.
Congratulations on your selection as the ultimate NFL International Fan of the Year. Keep fighting and continue to be a positive influence in the Cowboys community and those around you.
Top of the afternoon, top of the Monday afternoon, or should I say evening rather. It is 6 p.m. on the West Coast. It is your boy B Jizzle. We are live back in the lab for episode 4 of Facebook Fanatic. That's right. We are going international today. But before we get too far into the content, we got to do some family business. So we're going to talk about some OAT business, but we are streaming live on 3 platforms. So special shout out to everybody on Build Different Group. Shout out to all of my green badges, all of the supporters that have been holding on in the lean months, keeping your membership up to date. You know what to do. I need you to tap in. I need you to like and share the video. Let's help this video grow. We're going to be learning about the NFL Fan of the Year from a winner for the Dallas Cowboys in 2024. Special shout out to all of my veterans out on LinkedIn. We are live on LinkedIn. Shout out to all the vets in the Military Creator Con going back to back in 2027. That's right. We'll be in May of 2027 with the Military Creator Con. So look forward to that. Shout out to all my professionals on LinkedIn and then all of the subs on YouTube as we tap in on YouTube and show some love. So throw us a comment up down there if you're on one of those platforms and let us know you're tapping in. We've got a special guest from Mexico joining us tonight. And before we get them onto the stage, I want to just shout out our sponsors. All right, we already shout out our Green Badge supporters on Facebook. If you'd like to support the content, you can hit that support button down there below. Get a green badge next to your name and show us better than you tell us that you support the content. All right. Shout out to Turf Caps, our official annual sponsor for our Gym Rat of the Year 2026 competition. That's right. Sponsor Turf Caps out of Las Vegas, owned by a Dallas Cowboy fan. We will have a 88 behavior collaboration dropping. That's right, baby. The first blogger with a cap deal. Shout out to my girl, Michelle, down in ATL with the balloons because she is donated as our OAT featured vendor of the month. That's right. If you're in my group, OAT, now is your chance to go and win a box for the ladies. That's right. A relaxation box. All right, we got a current raffle going on in OAT right now. So if you're in there, you can go in there and check it out. $10 per raffle ticket. Get your chance to win. Shout out to my girl, Michelle in ATL, our featured OAT member of the month. But now that we got that business out of the way, we got our special guest waiting to tap in. And, you know, I wanted to have this episode here today because the NFL is getting ready to kick off on Thursday. You know, we got the NFL Hall of Fame game, right? The Hall of Fame game signals the beginning of a new season. It's actually the first preseason game of the year, right? In mid-August, after the Hall of Fame game, the NFL likes to kick off its NFL Annual Fan of the Year Challenge. I believe it started in 2020. And we got the 2024 winner here tonight talking about his journey. So let's just welcome him to the show. His name is Lalito Flores in Mexico because they are America's biggest fan base in Mexico. Welcome to the show, my brother.
Hey, Barry, thank you so much for having me. Super excited to be here with all of you, and thank you. Thank you for being here.
Yeah. You know, streaming international, you know, this is a first, especially. So appreciate the setup. Glad that you could tap in. I love that jersey you got on right there. Is that the NFL Fan of the Year 2024 jersey?
Yeah, well, actually, the one that they gave me, of course, it had a 24, but because I am the first ever NFL and Dallas Cowboys International Fan of the Year, that's why I customized this one with the number one, and of course with the badge of the NFL International Fan of the Year. So that's why I'm rocking number one.
Nice. So you're streaming all the way live from Mexico. So let's start from the beginning. Let's talk about, you're down in Mexico. How'd you become a fan? I know your dad was a fan. I know your story personally, but for my audience tapping in here today, share it with everybody how you became a fan all the way down in Mexico.
Yeah, well, here in Mexico, around the 80s, 90s, of course, there was not like a streaming device, or the games were not on TV as now we know that you can actually go into internet and watch like every game. So here in Mexico, they were really selective on which games they would put on TV. And of course, at that time, Raiders, Steelers, Cowboys, 49ers, all of them were like the most popular teams, or the ones that were winning more in the NFL. And those were the games that they were broadcasting here in Mexico. So my dad watched the NFL, and he started falling in love ever since he was a kid with the Dallas Cowboys. Of course, he was lucky enough to get to see the Super Bowls from the 90s, and he actually fell in love with the team. He had a really peculiar passion about the team, how to watch the games, how to live the games. And of course, ever since I was born, basically, I say that I became a Cowboys fan ever before I was even born, because I watch, and I all my life I saw my dad, how he was rooting for the Cowboys and how he was so passionate about him. So yeah, basically, I the love for the Cowboys and the passion for the Cowboys, it was inherited for my father, my late father, and that's something that I really regret nowadays, because I would love to have experienced this with him. But well, I think I am honoring him with how I root for the Cowboys, how passionate I am about them, and of course I like to do. But well, here's a picture of my father and me when we were
Nice.
younger.
All right.
This was the first time that we went to AT&T Stadium, and that's a picture that I really like. And well, this is my Facebook page, Cowboys Nation MX. That actually, this Facebook page, my father was the one who started this page with another friend. And well, when he passed away, of course, he that page was like on a pause, and I saw that my father really enjoyed like posting on social media and writing about it. So after he passed away, I continued doing that. And yeah, I have a weekly podcast. I use that platform to let
¿Quieres
the
ir a un
people
partido?
know about the news and about what's latest with our team. So yeah, I have been doing that since my father passed away. That it was on 2018. So almost 8 years later, I'm still here, and I'm really enjoying doing that.
Yeah, I've seen Cowboys Nation MX way before I knew who you were personally. And for those that don't know, this is our first time actually meeting each other on screen or talking. And so, this is all organic here, but it's pretty simple. I mean, a couple Cowboy fans, we get together. We're excited because I know folks in Mexico are excited down there about the Cowboys this season. Are they as excited down there as they are up here in the United States?
Oh yeah, definitely. Every year they are excited about it. Of course, the illusion of watching our team go on a deep run on the playoffs is always there. But I believe like the whole spirit for the Cowboys for this upcoming season here in Mexico, in the U.S., and I would say everywhere, uh, I would say that is the highest that I have seen in a couple of years.
Right. So, well, I appreciate you sharing your story. I know your dad's a big influence. That's wild that I didn't know your dad actually founded the MX page. How long has the MX page been around now? Because I've shared that link down in the comments. Everybody in the comments, go follow him. Cowboys Nation MX. What year or how long did you say it started?
I would say it started around 2014, 2015, around
Okay.
those dates.
Right.
And
Okay.
and yeah.
All right, so it's definitely a decade or older, so kind of something in common with Official America's team here. But International Fan of the Year, I didn't know of such a thing until I started doing some research on you for this podcast. So not only are you the International Fan of the Year, which we're going to talk about first, you're also the Dallas Cowboys Fan of the Year for 2024. Talk to me about the International Fan of the Year. Are those dates concurrent with the Fan of the Year, or how did you get nominated and tell us that story for us, would you?
Yeah, it was really funny because, of course, I know about the contest, the local contest that they have in the US, that every year they select one fan for each team, and the price is that they take them to the Super Bowl. They have like 2 Super Bowl tickets and stuff like that. So around the last part of the season of 2023, I saw that the NFL posted this contest, the International Fan of the Year. And I think the process was very similar to what is with the local, the domestic Fan of the Year. And I posted my profile. They ask you some questions about your fandom, what you are doing with your. I don't know. I didn't want to hear anything about the Cowboys at that time. But then I was like, well, I don't have like any active subscriptions with that email. I didn't sign for anything. And I was like, what is this about? And then I opened the email, and it was like a follow-up email on that contest. And that email said that I was being considered as one of the finalists to be named International Fan of the Year. So at that moment, I jumped out of my chair. I was like putting again my jersey, and I was like, yes, of course, I have always believed in the Cowboys. I never doubted you. And I was like really, really excited about that opportunity. And of course, that was only an email saying that I was one of their final choices. I wasn't like select one fan to be like the NFL Ultimate International Fan of the Year. Like
Yeah.
from the whole 32 teams, they select also one to be like from the whole NFL. So when Roger told me that I was the inaugural Ultimate International Fan of the Year, that was on the week of NFL draft in the
Got to be excited about that. So let's talk about the NFL Fan of the Year for you, as that Fan of the Year program is about to open up mid-August until late September here. They have not published those dates yet, but I will share the link down there in the comments below. How did you learn about the NFL Fan of the Year, and tell us about that process?
Well, actually, I didn't participate on the Fan of the Year because, again, as I said, that's like at the domestic contest, and for that you can only participate if you are a U.S. citizen.
Okay.
So the process that I did is the international one, and I know that
Got you.
it's basically the same. But yeah, I would say that what the NFL is doing right now, they are trying to transmit that the NFL is not only a sport, that football is not only a sport, is how you as a fan are helping the league and your team to be a good citizen, to be a good fan, how we are doing, how we are using your platforms like this one to get to other people and try to be to have a good sportsmanship, or how you're inspiring other people.
Yeah.
So of course, what I did, or what how I want to believe that I was selected as a international fan of the year and the ultimate international fan of the year is because of my pages, because I use my platforms to create conscience about good stuff like mental
Right.
health awareness, or how to be a good sportsmanship, or
Mhm.
how you are allowed to enjoy the sport or the NFL without needing to be picking on other fans or to other teams. Like, it's a sport, but for me, it's more than a sport. I also practice football my whole life. So how I'm using that knowledge, that passion to try to transmit positive things to next generations, and how you are helping the NFL to expand and to get to more people.
As you say, great segue. As the NFL expands to get to more people, you know, one of our loyal listeners comes in and says, BMAC, he says, like he said, this is the world's team, you know, and the NFL a couple of years ago divided up the whole world and said, you know, this team is responsible for this country and yada, yada, yada. And of course, Dallas Cowboys got Mexico. Now, you and I were talking in the blue room before we got in on the show about, you know, we was almost betting that maybe the Cowboys would have been playing in Mexico this year, but Mexico got a thumbs down and they went to Brazil. Anyway, I know Azteca, the stadium they would be playing, we're getting some upgrades and now it's ready, right? So maybe next year we may see the Cowboys visit our primos and primas down south in Mexico.
Yeah, that's definitely the expectation. Of course, the energy was really high because we have heard Jerry Jones talking about playing in Azteca for a couple of years now, and of course, we knew that that wasn't going to happen on the previous year because they were doing some upgrades to the stadium for the FIFA World Cup. Now the FIFA World Cup has passed; the stadium is already with these new upgrades, and it's ready. It's ready to receive the NFL. Of course, Mexico is going to get an NFL game this year. I think it's the Vikings and the 49ers, I think a week before Thanksgiving. And yeah, the expectation was really high about the Cowboys playing in Azteca this year. But I mean, now that the stadium is ready and that we have heard the Cowboys and Jerry Jones talking about that they really want to play in Azteca Stadium. Uh, I would bet if that's necessary that the Cowboys are going to be playing like really soon in Mexico. I would say maybe next year, or if not, in 2 years. Of course, this year the Cowboys have 9 home games, and one of those home games is going to be played in Brazil. So I don't know if they are going to wait until 2 years when the Cowboys have again 9 home games and then play in Azteca Stadium, or why not consider like a visiting team for next season? But of course, we know that if the Cowboys play in Azteca Stadium, whether they are an away team or a home team, they will have the home field advantage because here in Mexico, I would say they have a lot of Mexican fans, and if they go to that game, 90% of the fans are going to be supporting the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, if you take a look at Mexico here, I've already placed that link down in the comments below if you're interested. This is the Global Markets Program 2026, how the NFL has assigned teams, certain countries. And if you take a look at Mexico, Cowboys not the only ones down there, Lalito. They got the Cardinals, the Broncos, the Texans, the Chiefs, the Raiders, the Rams, the Dolphins, the Steelers, and the Niners. So there's also a lot of other team followings down there in Mexico too, not just the Cowboys, but of course the Cowboys are the most, right?
Yeah, definitely. From all of them, the Cowboys are like the biggest fan base here in Mexico, around the world. Like at least somebody from each country that roots for the Dallas Cowboys, and I think that is going to be a constant everywhere you go. But yeah, I am lucky enough to know a lot of fans from other teams. Actually, many of my classmates for that 2024 class from International Fans of the Year were from those teams, and yeah, I know here NFL and football in Mexico is getting really popular, and I know they are a lot of great fans here in Mexico. So of course, I'm really happy that Mexico is getting an NFL game. I would have loved to that the Cowboys were the ones playing here, but well, the NFL is back in Mexico, and that's something that I really care about because here in Mexico we have really good fans, and they deserve to have the opportunity to leave the NFL.
Let's talk about that. What does you and your Cowboys Nation MX following and your fan club have going on this season? Any big things going on in terms of your club, or any watch parties or traveling to games or anything like that?
Yeah, that's something that I am trying really to work on, like to have watch parties with a group of people, or trying to get more content to them. It's a little bit difficult because Cowboys Nation MX is not a specific located fan club. Like it's
Right.
for Mexican fans all around Mexico. I have had the opportunity to also connect with fans that speak Spanish from Latin America or from Spain, from other countries. So that's really difficult because I am not like specific located. But what I try to do is like to bring the best content in Spanish that I can give to hear Mexican fans. Like I try to do the weekly podcast, of course, when I go to home games. I try to do the vlogs. I try to send some special videos and stuff like that. I mean, it's really difficult because I know the Cowboys are like really big, and the fans also expect like really good content about the team. But I mean, I try always to give the best that I can, and try to give the best content possible to Mexican fans and Hispanic followers.
Nice. So let's get back to some football really quick so folks can get to know a little bit more about you. Who is your favorite Dallas Cowboy player of all time?
Ooh, of all time, that's really tricky. So of course I would say that one of the most memorable ones for me it's Troy Aikman because he was a quarterback and he played with number 8. When I play football I started wearing number 8 because I was born in August 8, of course, month 8,
okay.
day 8. Troy Aikman was the number 8, and my father was really in love with him. So Troy Aikman has a special place in my heart. Unfortunately, I only saw him from 2000 and 2002. I was like 2 years old when I started watching Troy Aikman. So of course I don't have like a lot of memories of him, but I know the story about Troy Aikman, and I would say that he has a special place in my heart. But I didn't see a lot from him to maybe call him my favorite Cowboy for all time. So from the modern era, I would say my favorite one is Des Bryant. Des Bryant is the one that I love. For like the
I seen
passion
you
that he
rocking. I
had.
seen you rocking the 88 on the International Fan of the Year website over there. That's I was
Yeah.
like, yeah. Then I seen your pops. It looks like your dad had the 88 on when you were young too. I'm like, yeah, big
Yeah.
88 behavior going on. I love it.
Right, right. So I definitely enjoy watching the passion that he had on and off the field, like how dominant, how aggressive he was on the field. Like I really like a lot this Bryant. When he got released, my heart was broken. But I would say that all time, Des Bryant is my favorite Cowboy ever. But of course, I'm deeply in depth, and I really admire and I really love our quarterback, Dak Prescott. Like for me, he's a role model on and off the field. I would say that he's making a really strong case for him to become my favorite Cowboy player of all time. But as of now, I think it's this Bryant and Dak Prescott are at the top of my list.
Can't go wrong with that, you know. But let's talk more about Dak Prescott because you shared something a little bit earlier that caught my ear when you talked about mental health. And you looked to Dak Prescott, and I read your story doing a little research that Dak actually motivated you in terms of the mental health aspect with this, you know, his charity Faith Fight Finish. So talk about that impact Dak has had on you as he's almost your favorite player.
Yeah, well, as I already told, my father passed away in 2018, and for me it was a really, really difficult time because my dad to me was everything. Was my best friend. He at what moment he was my coach. He was my role model. So when I lost my dad, I lost like a lot of persons in just one person. So that was really tough to me. I was having a really difficult time. Of course, when the season started, I was like, I don't want to watch the games. It's not going to be the same without my dad. Like everything in life was feeling like really, really going downhill. And of course, I started like to trying to look for small things that motivated me to keep going moving forward and to try to continue being positive. And that was that reason. Like I started watching the person behind the player and how he was uh, overcoming all the adversity that we know that Dak has faced, and how he was using like all those different and difficult moments to try to inspire more people. And that was like a medicine to me. It was like something that really changed my perspective and really changed how I was facing my situation. And I started just following that really close, how he was speaking freely about mental health awareness, about asking for help, about getting in touch with your loved ones, or being there for everybody. So he was one of the main reasons that I moved forward, and that he actually inspired me to get better as a person, as a just a member of my society. So yeah, Dak Prescott has influenced me a lot on how he faces adversity, how he uses his platforms to reach out to other people. And yeah, Dak is my hero. He saved my life. I am not afraid to say this. I have said this a couple of times now. And yeah, I have been really lucky to get in touch with him a couple of times, and I have said that to him. And yeah, Dak is a great player, but he's even a better person of the field. So I admire him a lot because of that, and that's why I consider one of my favorite Cowboys players of all time.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your story here. I think that's the deeper impact there than just being a fan of a team when you're facing critical situations. Because at the end of the day, we're all human, and you know we've all had to face a death or two, maybe in our family. And I appreciate you sharing that Dak was an inspiration for you in terms of the mental health, because the NFL is big on mental health now. I believe now they have NFL mental health professionals on teams for this, especially, Cowboys fans have recently dealt with that when it came to one of our players. So suicide is not just a military thing or an NFL thing. It's a human thing. And so I appreciate you sharing that. Is there a favorite Dak Prescott moment that you've had? Have you met any Cowboy players?
Yeah, I have been lucky enough that when I received this award, the International Fan of the Year, my story sounded around the world, and it reached out to Dak Prescott, that is Dak's older brother, and he sent the video of me announcing that pick announcement at the NFL draft in 2024. And on that moment on the stage, I thank Dak Prescott about what he was doing with mental health awareness, and that he was an influence with me. And that video reached out to him. I wasn't expecting that moment was going to be so viral, and that it was going to end up in Dak's cell phone. And that his older brother sent that video to him, and he got in touch with me and he invited me to his gala, to his Fate Fight Finish Foundation gala in 2024, and I was able there to connect with a lot of NFL players, of course, Dallas Cowboys players, and it was so surreal to me because, of course, I knew everybody. Like they are like my favorite players, my favorite. They belong to my favorite team, and I knew exactly who they were. And when I was like on that gala and that I was like saying hi to everybody, they recognized me because of that video, and it was so surreal to me because they knew exactly who I was, and it was like not even on my biggest dreams. I would imagine to hear my favorite players saying like, "Oh yeah, you're Eduardo. You are the guy from the draft," and the guy that said things about Dak. And I was like, that was an amazing moment to me, and I'm still so thankful about that moment, about that opportunity that Dak and his family gave me. Of course, the Dallas Cowboys. I wouldn't be here today, and I wouldn't have the title that I have without the Dallas Cowboys and all the people around and inside the organization that have helped me like to get it to expand my story and yeah, the story about me and the fan that I am.
Okay. And so you also travel the game. So you go back and forth across the international border to support your team. Talk about that. Like, is there a memory that you had with your father when you went to your first game?
Oh, definitely, definitely. That was on 2015. It was a home game against the Seattle Seahawks. It was really tough because Romo was injured at that time, so
Ooh,
we
that
got to
game.
see, yeah, we got to see Matt Castle at the controls of, of the Cowboys offense. But to be honest, I wasn't there because of the game. Like just to be able to go to AT&T Stadium for the first time with my dad, to being able to do the tour, to being able to be at the locker room, to be standing on at the middle of the star on the 50-yard line. That was something that is going to live with me forever. Like that's something that I cherish forever. For me, that's the best trip. I have been lucky enough to have gone a couple of times now to AT&T Stadium ever since the past couple of years. But for me, that trip is the most memorable one because I was with my dad, and that was the only trip that I had with my dad at AT&T Stadium, and being able to be standing there uh, with basically the person that I consider the biggest Cowboys fan ever, and that I was there, of course, because of him. It was something magical. I was also lucky enough to go to Texas Stadium back in 2007,
Hmm.
2008, I believe. So to being able that now that to say that I have been to Texas Stadium and AT&T Stadium with my dad, I think that's the best memory that I have going to Cowboys games.
Wow. So international ultimate fan of the year, all this, the Texas Stadium, like you're really rooted. Like, my first game was actually 1985 against the Chicago Super Bowl Shuffle Bears. Danny White was the quarterback and we got waxed, I think 40 to zip or something like that. And I was with my mother and father. So thank you for sharing that story, because, that's just really, crazy. I mean, you're traveling all the way, you and your father. There are fans from Mexico that travel to see the Cowboys. They're that big of fans down there. And so, with that being said, for the International Fan of the Year for this year, what advice would you have for those folks competing or getting nominated for the International Fan of the Year?
Yeah, I think the key is how you are helping your team and the NFL to expand internationally. So the NFL know that around the world and around the country, they have. Sorry, I was reading the comment. That's my little
Yeah,
brother.
yeah, right there. Okay, yeah, you can read it and you can translate for us because I can't. Yeah.
Yeah, he was saying that. Well, the first one is just. Oh, I think that's a spam a comment. That's a spam comment.
Oh, okay. All right. Never mind. Get the spammers out of here. But anyway,
Yeah, yeah, no, but
getting
the
back
other
to the
one.
advice. Oh, which one?
From Mauricio Flores, I think he put the only Cowboy fan that I like, so
Oh, yeah, yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, that's my little brother. He's a Dolphins fan, so
Oh,
of
okay.
course I'm lucky enough that he's a Dolphin fan because of course our rivalry is only like 4 years, one time every 4 years. So we actually enjoy to watch the games together. So we don't have to pick on each other a lot of time. So but well, sorry. Back to your question about
Yeah,
how
advice for the Ultimate International Fan of the Year this year if they want to compete.
yeah, my advice is how we are using your platforms and your story to get to more people. And of course, they know that around the world, around the country, there are a lot of passionate fans. But they don't want to select somebody that only focus on the game and they only focus like how hard they can root for the team on game days. They also are really interested to know how you as a fan are helping your community, like charitable work that you do, or how you are using your platforms to reach to other people and to try to use the NFL and the sport to get to more important subjects like mental health matters or other stuff that is really important to create awareness of a disease or to create awareness of how to be a good person, a good sportsmanship. So I would say that the NFL is not focusing only on the fan, but how you as a fan are helping them to reach out to other people and how we are using your platform for a better cause.
Got you. And so that's a great segue too, because not only are you a fan that travels and goes to games and all of that, now you run Cowboys Nation MX. You said it's been up for about over a decade now. Talk to the beginners this year, because I'm seeing more and more fans getting into content, going to games and traveling. There's a ton of content coming out of training camp right now. Talk about your journey into creating content and creating Cowboys Nation MX.
Yeah, I started doing that in 2018. I started doing that because that was like one of the steps that I follow in order to trying to get used to that my father was not longer with me for the Cowboys game and stuff like that. So
Right.
as I mentioned, my father started this page with another friend, and I looked that he really enjoyed like writing columns and articles before the game, after the game, and stuff like that. So in order to like to continue doing what we love to do and to trying to spread about the Cowboys news, because I was aware that here in Mexico City, most of the news that you normally see in the US wasn't reaching the Cowboys fans here in Mexico. So I was like, well, if my father loved to do that, and I know that I have really good information from the US about the Cowboys, I think I want to give it a try. Like to try to write about the team, try to write about the news, the latest updates, try to make content. And that was like something that I felt that it was keeping me close with my dad, because that was something that he really liked. And that was something that I really miss, like to talk someone about the Cowboys the way I did with my father. So that's what I started in 2018 after my father passed away, and I started doing like really small segments, like really small notes, stuff like that. And of course, with COVID, that we were all locked down, and that I wasn't like I couldn't go like nowhere to the street or
Yeah,
something like that.
we're all podcasters at that point.
Exactly. So that was when I would say that it was like the big jump that I made, because I started doing videos, I started doing the weekly podcast, I started doing more notes and trying my designs. I was getting better on the designs that I was posting and stuff like that. So I would say COVID unfortunately was a really tough stages and years for a lot of people, but for me it was an important moment in my I would say in my internet career, if you want to call it that way, because that's when I really dig into social media and to start to trying to focus on my social media and trying to grow my pages. I have a Cowboys Nation MX that it's a page dedicated for Cowboys fans only, but I also have another one that is called Play Action MX that it's for the whole NFL.
Okay, got you. So we got Cowboys Nation MX up here. The link is down in the comments below. Make sure you go follow them. Is this the main social to find you on there? Is Facebook, or do you on other platforms?
Yeah. Cowboys Nation MX is the strongest social media that we have. It's on Facebook. I'm also on Instagram. One of my goals this year is trying to be more active on Instagram, because more of the fans are in Facebook, and of course in Spotify. That is where you can hear my weekly podcast. Is
Yeah.
Cowboys Nation MX.
Well, I mean, Facebook, the reason why there's so many Cowboy fans on Facebook, which, we are the most followed at 8.1 million followers. I've done the research. I mean, when Facebook was created, I believe in 2004, all of the people that were early adopters of smartphones that started social media gravitated, and they were all Cowboy fans, and they just followed. And so now we're the most followed. And so it makes sense for content creators, especially for Cowboys, but it also makes sense for the haters. So I know you get some hate. So let's go down the road of hate as a Cowboy fan. How has it been for you as a, Ultimate International Fan of the Year and all the things that come with that? I know you've had to have some hate. Are the other fans coming at you, or is it the Cowboy fans coming at you?
Oh, definitely. It's the best of both worlds. Like, of course, when I was announced as the first ever international fan of the year, I was getting like a lot of congratulations for many people that I know, many people that I didn't know, and it was really really amazing to see how my story was able to connect with other people. But of course, there's two faces for each coin, and we know that there are fans that are really jealous about it, and I was getting hate because they were saying that my story was fake or that I was just making that up to get the recognition. And I mean, at one point, I would have to think about answering them, but it's just giving importance to negative comments. And I would say that is something that I have learned in social media, that if something doesn't give you a positive impact in your life, like, don't give importance. Like, there's going to be a lot of people that is going to comment or to have their own opinion. But if you give importance to that negative comments or to that negative people, it's like you are giving the most precious thing that we have, that is time and attention, and you are going to focus only on bad stuff. So of course, once and then I saw comments about my page, about the Cowboys, or about myself being so negative about it. But I was like, I won't focus on that. Like, I'm really happy on my life. I'm really happy what I am doing, how I'm doing this stuff, how I'm managing my pages and stuff like that. So I would say the best advice is, don't give your time to negative people. Like,
Right.
just block them, just ignore them, and just focus on the good stuff, and that's it.
Well, I mean, I really hate the Philadelphia Eagles, and I know hate is a strong word, especially what they did to the playmakers. So if there's any one team that I hate, but it just does. I mean, I'm about to get off on a tangent. Let me get back to Mexico. So, are there Mexico Cowboy fans hating on you in the comments at Cowboys Nation MX? I mean, we get it here on Built Different Group, particularly from the Bird Brains, but do you get it from your own fans down there? Are there Dak haters in Mexico too?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely, and that's a little bit sad because I think that divides a fan base. And of course, you can have your own opinion. You can be really positive about the team, or you don't root a lot for them, but like trying to make disrespectful comments about the players, and again, behind every player there's a person. Like, you don't know if they are having difficult situations in their life, and you are attacking the person and not only the player. And of course, you are going to see a lot of bad comments, and that's the beautiful thing and the bad thing about the Cowboys, because they are so big and because they have a really big fan base. Of course, you are going to have divided opinions about the team, about players, about Dak Prescott especially. We know that there's a lot of controversial comments around Dak Prescott. Someone think that he is one of the best QBs, that maybe he hasn't had the support that the team should have given at this point. Other person is going to say that he's the worst QB and that he's not taking advantage of the opportunity and stuff like that. And again, people can have their own opinion as long as they don't try to, I don't know, like to say bad things or to get like really personal with the
Yeah, get
player, with
personal. Yeah,
myself, and stuff like that. I'm
yeah.
okay. You can have a different opinion. We don't have to agree on everything, but just be respectful. Like, I know that it's really important. I know that for Cowboys fans, it has been like really long to see them play on the Super Bowl and to reach the big stage. But at the end of the day, it's just football, and there's no need to be that aggressive or to be that really a bad person into it, or
Yeah.
to adopt it as a
Great
personality.
segue, though. You talk about the Super Bowl. Let me get your reactions on this, because we're going to give the haters here, if they're in Mexico or in America, wherever, to talk today. Because when our quarterback, I say our, I'm speaking for me and you, because Dak's my quarterback too. When Dak showed up with a Super Bowl t-shirt on, and he's now being quoted in the media as saying the greatest offense there is going in this season, Lalito, what's your thoughts about your quarterback doing all that?
I love it. I love it. Like, they are professionals. Why wouldn't they be playing in the NFL thinking about getting to the Super Bowl? And on his words, he's manifesting things. Like, I really believe in the power of manifesting. And if he's confident enough to say that this year they can make a really run, playoff run and get to the Super Bowl, I totally believe in him. And I would prefer to have a QB that is talking about a Super Bowl than one QB that he doesn't have like expectations to reach out to the Super Bowl. Like, him wearing that shirt, him calling the offense the greatest offense that there is. Uh, it speaks a lot. It speaks in the confidence that he has on himself, with his players, with Brian Schottenheimer, with the team, with the new defensive coordinator, and I'm all into it. Like, they know better than we know what is happening inside the locker room, what is happening inside the team. So if he's as confident enough to wear a Super Bowl T-shirt and to call his offense the GOATY, I mean, I love it. I love it, and the expectations are getting only higher because of that.
Yeah, because you and I, we receive a lot of hate as Cowboy fans and other Cowboy fans that are tapping in. We appreciate everybody tapping in on all three channels: Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. But the hate is going to come, right? The hate is going to come. So in terms of that, imagine Dak Prescott going all the way to the Super Bowl in Los Angeles, where there's a big, Mexican Cowboy following there, and it being on Valentine's Day and breaking the haters' hearts because the Super Bowl in Los Angeles next February is on Valentine's Day. You think Dak could break all the haters' hearts and the Dak hater hearts?
I would love to. I would love to see that. And here's a fun fact, and that's something that I think I haven't speak publicly about it. My father unfortunately passed away on Valentine's Day on February
Oh,
14th.
I'm sorry for that.
So if the Cowboys and Dak can manage to get to the Super Bowl and play it this year on February 14th of 2027, that would be a full circle moment for me.
Wow.
And that day could change immediately how I see it. So that's something that I'm really, again, it's manifesting, it's trying to believe in the signals that life, God, or whatever you believe in sends you. So for me, it's a very special year. My expectations are high as they could be. And of course, those are like the small things, the special things that make you believe even harder. So for me, that would be amazing, and I would love that to happen.
Man, the power of manifestation is real. I didn't know that. I appreciate you sharing that with us here. And wow, if the stars were to align, like, come on, Dak Prescott, y'all got to get ready. So for all of our folks tapping in on all three channels, if you got questions for Lalito, whether it be about International Fan of the Year, we're going to continue to talk Cowboys. We're going to take question and answers here over the next 15 minutes. Get your questions down there in the comments below. We'll highlight them. And if you really like to support the content, you can donate stars to show us that you support. We will get all your questions answered. Either way, throw your questions up. Let's continue to talk about this team now, because at the draft, you drafted Tyler Guyton, right? That's who the player was you called out. Talk about that draft moment, being at the draft as International Fan of the Year and drafting Tyler Guyton.
Well, I got the draft card of Tyler Guyton because, of course, Tyler Guyton was the first pick on that year's draft, and Roger Goodell announced the pick, and he came down the stage, and he had like the card where it says that Tyler Guyton was being elected. He signed my draft card and he gave it to me. So that's the draft card that I have it in my studio. Unfortunately, right now I am at my mom's house, so that's why you are not looking at any Cowboy stuff. But you know
It's
that
all good.
I know that I have my flag and all the stuff from the Cowboys. But right now I'm at my mom's house.
Right.
But that's the card I have. The player that I actually announced as the Cowboys selection was Nate Thomas. That he's also an offensive line. He's a
Nate
left
Thomas.
tackle. Yeah.
I mean, these two guys are literally competing for the same
Yeah.
position. I mean, the stars continue to align.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
what was it like with Nate? What was it like drafting Nate Thomas then?
Oh my God! It was at this day. I can't believe that I did an NFL draft pick announcement. Like, it
Were
was
you nervous?
surreal.
Like, did you get cotton mouth? Like, talk about how you were feeling. Because I know when you walked out, you were like pumping the crowd up, and you came out with the cowboy pants, the player pants, and all that.
Yeah, of course, I already knew that I was going to do that because that was one of the prizes of being International Fan of the Year. They let me know in advance that I was going to make a pick announcement, and it was going to be until the third day of the draft. So in my head, I was like, okay, it's the third day. If I mess it up, it's the third day. Normally, there's not a lot of people watching that moment. So, but in my moment, I was like, you know what? You don't have to be nervous. Just go ahead and do what you are feeling at that moment. Like, enjoy your moment. Like, you don't know if you are going to be able to do that again. So I was just feeling it. I was just really happy on getting the opportunity. And at that moment, when I was walking to the stage, of course, it was in Detroit, and people were like really, really heartbroken of what happened a season before with the Cowboys Lions game, with the the penalty of the eligible
Yeah,
man that they called and
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that.
The controversial call. Yeah.
Exactly. So they were like booing me really hard that whole week, and that's why I was like, come on, okay,
Okay, so you got more hate from the Lions fans because that's what I was going to ask you.
yeah.
Did you feel the love from Cowboys Nation? Were they there, or did the Detroit Lion hate from that call outshine it?
Yeah, no, there were of course Cowboys fans there, but you can definitely hear more boos than
Yeah,
support from Cowboys fans. But to be honest, Detroit fans were like really amazing. They were not making things personal. They were just booing in a fun way, if you want to call it that way, because you definitely can tell when something is like really personal and when something is like making fun or on a rivalry that was existing at that moment. So beside that booing and everything, they were like really welcoming and really kind the whole time in the city. But of course, if they see you walk with the Cowboys jersey, it was like, boo, the man was eligible and stuff like that. So it was a really fun moment. But to being able to be at that stage and to make the pick announcement, I was just lucky enough. Again, I tried to use that moment, to use that platform the same way as Dak uses his platform. That's why I recognize him about mental health awareness, and I try to create conscious about it on that moment. And I am really glad that I did it, not because what happened on or that message got to that, but because a lot of people really, I think they find really helpful what I said, and to
yeah.
be
No, you
open-minded
use your
and
you use your platform to impact other people going through real
exactly.
life situations, and that's why I wanted to highlight that with the fake fight finish and what Dak had in terms of his impact on you, because Dak has impacted me too as well. Not only as my quarterback, I watched him deal with suicide, with his mother's
Hmm.
death of cancer and those things. Like the guy continues to get hate, but we're going to
Yeah.
hold the hate there because when you talk about platforms, shout out to all of our Patreon supporters on Patreon, the only blog site talking about Cowboy fans like Lalito around the world since 2016. A small group of fans have kept this website's lights on. And we featured the greatest Cowboys fan base outside of America initially in Mexico with our first contact between OAT in Mexico with Juan Carlos Sanchez. So shout out to Juan Carlos Sanchez. I'll share this link down in the comments below. He talked about the history of how football started in the universities. And so with that being said, are there any particular, Mexican football players that have, impacted you or you've paid attention to that about that have made impact in the league?
Yeah, of course. The one that sounds more is Isaac Alarcón. He was a Mexican player that started his international path program with the Dallas Cowboys.
Isaac
Uh,
Alaporter?
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Right
Mhm.
now he is with the 49ers with
Correct.
also another Mexican player that is Alfredo Gutierrez. And I know that here in Mexico is like really difficult to make that jump from a college level that here in Mexico I would consider is like the biggest level in Mexico and to the NFL. But I'm really glad that the NFL is looking not only to Mexican players but players all around the world with this international path program that they have, and it's really cool to see how players are getting that opportunity and how they are getting used to the NFL level and how they can make. Of course, they are going to help their team, but here in Mexico, a lot of people, a lot of kids are really looking into them. Like they can believe and they can say, okay, I know that there's a Mexican playing in the NFL. Why I can be the next? Like I will really work really hard to be there. And
Yeah.
of course, there's a lot of Mexican American players that have made a big impact. Last April, I was able to connect with Will Hernandez. He played for the Giants, and last time with the Cardinals. He's a Mexican American, and he went to a professional game here in Mexico. And like to hear his story and how he's approaching this kind of stuff and how he's helping Mexican kids or Mexican college player, it's really impactful. And I'm really happy and grateful that people from the NFL is starting to look here in Mexico and around the world to give the same opportunities.
One of our listeners on Facebook has a question. He says, they have college football in Mexico? Can you
Yes,
talk about college football down there?
yeah, they do have college football. I actually was lucky enough on my football career to get to college level. I played with Borregos from Tech Puebla. That's a private university. And here in Mexico, they have really good rivalries in college football. And it's not something that has been like from the last couple of years. Like this is history. Like at least 80 to 100 years, this league has been played here in Mexico, and that's why I say that is the highest level here. From the past couple of years now, we have a professional football league, but I would say the best level of football that is played here in Mexico is college football, and it actually starts on in September, same as college football in the US. And here we have like really good teams, we have private teams, we have schools from the government that they have their traditions, their teams, and it's really big. That's why I say that football in Mexico it's really big, and it has been big for at least a couple of decades now, and it's amazing to see the atmosphere here from college game days in Mexico, and how the NFL is starting to looking to NFL college players, to Mexican college players.
Yeah. And so, I appreciate you coming on here to talk about, this podcast is dedicated to super fans. Now, a lot of folks may say, well, super fans are only this or that. But, to me, a super fan is anybody, especially for a fan of the year, ultimate international fan of the year. I appreciate you coming on here and showing your background on that. And so with that being said, are there any super fans you follow or that you enjoy watching that you pay attention to on Facebook?
Oh, wow. Yeah, definitely. I have a lot of friends. I am lucky enough to belong to PFUFA, the Pro Football's Ultimate Fan Association. I know many Cowboys fans, and of course fans from all around the team. Actually, I'm at my mom's house because I'm on my way to Canton, Ohio this week to meet with all of them. So there's
Nice.
a lot of great fans, and of course, if you belong to this organization, is that because you are a great fan, but also a great human being. So I would say a big shout out to all my Cowboys family, Mateo, True Blue, Julio Marin, Lloyd Wheeler, Big Wheel, Nicole, that he's the Cowboys diva, Ben Sanders, TNT, and KCDC. Those are my Cowboys family. Of course, Frenchie, that is the first fan to being elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I think it was at that time. So yeah, I know many fans. I'm lucky enough to be called his friend, his family, and all members from PFVFA. And that's the official website. They have their annual reunion every year at the Hall of Fame weekend. And yeah, I'll be with all of them this week. I was lucky enough to get inducted to the Pro Football's Ultimate Fan Association last year, so I'm really looking forward to this week as my first year as a member.
I really love how the stars are aligning here because I wanted to talk to you about PFUFA, which stands for, could you explain that for fans that may be not familiar with here for the first time?
Yeah, PFUFA stands for Pro Football's Ultimate Fan Association.
Okay.
Like this is an association that is recognized by the NFL Pro Football Hall of Fame. We do not belong to the Hall of Fame. That's two different stuff. But the Pro Football Hall of Fame recognizes us as a fan base, as the Pro Football's Ultimate Fan Association group.
Right.
And it's really special to belong to this group, and I'm really proud to belong to this organization because, as the name says, they recognize fans, but as I mentioned, it's not only how hard you root for your team or how passionate you are about your team, it's how you are using your fandom to create awareness or to do charitable work. And something that I'm really proud of is that all of the members that belong to this organization, they do something to impact their community. So for example,
No, I just wanted to ask, sorry to interrupt, because I want to make sure I get this in. Like, if somebody watching the show today wanted to become part of this PFUFA that you're talking about, FUFA, which shout out to Lloyd Wheeler for hooking us up on this podcast here. I'll talk more about that in a minute. But how would one fan become a FUFA member?
Yeah, they have a really selective process. It's not like I want to belong to this organization and they are going to welcoming you without making any type of process. Actually, they have like their own draft process. Like they have like these draft cards that they gave you, and you have to start the process after having that draft card. But it's not like you go with a member and say like, hey, I want to belong to your organization. Like you have to make a name from yourself, and you have to make you notice for other members, like how you are doing things with your community, like all the
Like what you did with your platform, Cowboys Nation MX and everything, right?
Yeah, exactly. But most how you are doing the charitable work. That's like the main focus on this organization.
Charitable
like,
work.
Yeah, charitable work. Sorry.
Okay.
So yeah, it's not like you are posting stuff, or like, hey, look, I'm doing this
Yeah,
stuff, or
yeah.
I'm helping my community.
That's fan of the year type stuff. The FUFA is like next level. It seems like, right? That's like
Exactly.
the elite level of fandom.
Yeah, it's like they really need to see that you are making an impact and that you are doing it from the bottom of your heart, that you are not doing it just to become a name or just to become a prospect. Like, that is something that you normally do without the need of someone watching you, or without the need of the focus of a camera, or a cell phone. Like, you really like to help people, you really like to make a positive impact in your community. So after
Yeah.
you have make your name, after they have looked that you are a passionate fan, but also that you are a great person, that you are really into helping people, that's how the process starts. And that's when you receive a draft card. And then after you receive a draft card, they of course do a background check about your person, about your fan, about the stuff that you do, how you're helping. And it's a very long process. That's something that you can find on the regulations on on the website, but it's a really long process. But I would say that it is really worth it, because they make sure that only the best fans and the best people belong to that organization.
Yeah.
And again, I'm really honored, and I am really glad that I became a member last year.
Yeah, I'm just happy that I'm friends with members. So special shout out to Lloyd Wheeler. He follows my content on social media. I've seen him a couple of times in the trenches. I told him that when I see him down there in Houston, he'll be at the Houston game. We're gonna, get a cold cerveza and talk a little bit about them Cowboys. So special shout out to Lloyd Wheeler from the Pro Football's Ultimate Fan Association, and we've got the International Fan of the Year joining us here on the show as we continue to round down. If you got a last minute question, get it in down there below. What advice do you have for Cowboy fans this season about being optimistic? Like, what wisdom can you share with us from Mexico going into the season?
I would say, I know that the last couple of years have been really hard. Like, for me, at least, my whole life, I haven't watched the Cowboys win two playoff games in the same season. Like, either they win one or they get kicked out on the first round of the playoffs. So I know that it's really hard to be optimistic at these stages, after 30 years of not getting to the Super Bowl, after being the last team on getting to the NFC Championship game. So my advice is, enjoy the season. Whether it's a winning season, whether it's a losing season, watch it as another opportunity to watch the games with your loved ones, with your friends, with your family, with that person that made you a Cowboys fan. Right now, I would do anything to watch one preseason game with my dad. I would do anything to have that moment again. So I would say, oh, sorry, I'm getting a little bit emotional right now.
It's all right.
Um, enjoy it, because you don't know when it can happen again, when you are going to have another opportunity. So just cherish those moments, and that's what makes beautiful this sport, that there's another year every time. So why not? Why not this year? Why not to be positive about this year? Why this year can be the year that we have been expecting for the last 30 years? So just enjoy it, go with it, don't make it personal, and enjoy it with your loved ones.
Beautiful message, man. I really appreciate your time streaming all the way live down from Mexico, Lalito. It's been a pleasure here getting to know you and meet you for the first time and talk to you. Before we get out of here, are there any games fans can look forward to maybe networking or linking up with you this season you may plan on traveling to?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be actually, the first game that I'll be attending to is going to be the international game in Brazil. So that's something that I'm really looking forward
Whoa.
into. It's the first international game that the Cowboys have played, I think, in over 10 years, and I'm lucky enough that I'm going to be there. So I'm really looking forward to that game. And I'm going to be at four home games. That is going to be the Buccaneers one, the Titans one, the Eagles, and the Cardinals. Those are the four games that I'll be attending to this year in Dallas, and I'll be going to one away game that it's against the Colts in Indianapolis. So those are the five games plus the international one that I'll be attending to this year. Again, really looking forward to the season, to making connections with special fans like you and all your beautiful people that you have here in your platform, and yeah, just
Thank you.
enjoying the season as much as I can.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. And hopefully maybe this is the beginning of something new. Maybe we can, tag team from Mexico to USA and do some content in the future. I'll be getting around to some of the games too. Not, we won't be able to cross paths, but I'm happy that we were able to cross paths here to do all because of Facebook. And this is why this podcast is called Facebook Fanatic, because there's super fans all over the Dallas Cowboys, social media and everything. And, they're all out there at training camp right now. Everybody is a social media content creator. I mean, you can get paid to do social media content. And what better team, right, Lalito, than the most loved and the most hated? Because either way, we're going to win, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the beautiful thing about covering the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you joining us here again today for episode 4. This has been Lalito Flores from Mexico. Ultimate International Fan of the Year, Dallas Cowboy Fan of the Year, baby. Y'all learned about the programs. All the links are in the comments below down there. And we're getting ready to go from Mexico next week. We're going to go right up to Southern California. Are you familiar with the Southern California Dallas Cowboys fan club, Lalito?
Yeah, I have seen a couple of posts about them, and I know that they are a really good fan base. So
yeah, we're going to have the president, El Presidente, Luis Garcia, to join us next week. So stay tuned for episode 5. It's going to be Southern California Dallas Cowboys fan club. This has been Lalito Flores from Mexico. I appreciate you guys. We'll see you again in the gym, all of y'all, on the next episode.
definitely. Thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure.
Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys!